Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. This is part 5 of repairing 1946 monitor radio, model TC56M. I highly suggest going back and reviewing other videos regarding this repair to see the process that we took to get to this level. Alright, everything is done. I hope everything is done. You're going to find out soon, right? When you look at this crazy thing, look how much wire goes everywhere. If I miss one wire or forgot to add or put it wrong place, it will not work. So next thing what we need to do, install, the new wire. As I mentioned earlier, you want to put polarized, and always hot side goes to the on and off switch. Always you want to do that. We already know which one is hot side. I already marked it here. I'm going to pull this apart so I can enough space to get to there. So there's 2 holes here. See that one? I'm going to fit this through here, these 2 holes. I'm going to put the positive hot to the top. See that one? Then you're going to make a nut here so this doesn't come out. Otherwise somebody can pull this and they're going to yank everything out. And so to make it be safe, each radio is different, of course. Some they have a clip, I call it security clip. Some they have different method for the wire doesn't come out. Some like this has nothing. See, I just made one nut. So if somebody pull, it's not going to come out. See that? So this now go solder to here, and this one going to solder to that pen. So I took note, because without note it's going to be hard to follow. Of course you can look at the schematic, but if you take note it's much easier. Neutral or negative goes pen 1 of 35 wire 4 tube. You see I put a mark here. And the other side of the cord goes to this one. So let's install those 2. Alright, let's solder this and get it done. I already wrapped it in pen 1. This is the neutral to pen 1, of course. Alright, what's next is cleaning all the pen for the tubes. And after cleaning, of course, installing them. Be very careful with this pen. They're pretty small. What I usually do, get a regular alcohol and a Q-tip and just clean all this pen one at a time. You want to do a good job on this. Just with the alcohol should be fine. So I pour some here, and just so you go and clean one at a time like that. Make sure it's cleaned before you installing them. You see it has a little key here, and each of them there's a key. This one is right here. Okay, so you line up the key like that, then gently press it down, then it's going to lock in. Alright, now we're going to install the speaker. You see, this is where you need those pictures that you took. A picture shows me these 2 wires. The thinner one is, I call it brown, it's like little brown, goes this side. The black one goes other side. So let's install that as well. And taking picture always is helpful, or videoing it, whatever going to help you. Alright. Alright, the first one is done. Let's install the second one. Okay, this one is done as well. Now the speaker goes in there, and there's 2 screws hold the speaker. See, that's why I cover the speaker, because you always want to be careful. Again, as soon as stop, let it go, don't force it. Alright, I create this to hold the capacitors, those 2 capacitors inside. We already had this, so I install it right here. And the capacitor, of course, are inside now. I already run the wire for 30 microfarad. Also the ground, now I'm working the 50 microfarad. If you like to learn how I create this, feel free to watch this video, which I will walk you through step by step how to create a multi-section capacitor. I like to do that, I just could leave it there without this, use a zip tie, but usually I don't do those type of work unless I have to. It's going to be more work to do this, but I like to do this type of crazy stuff, When somebody look at it on the chassis, say, oh, this is how it used to be. So anyway, this is right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tent this wire. Remember, this is the standard wire, so already twisted like that. I'm going to use a little solder here, just a little bit, not too much, so it doesn't fall apart when I want to install it. And just the tip of it is fine. Alright, now I'm going to install it right there. I'm going to solder it as well. Alright, this is done too. Everything is installed. This is how I look like under the chassis. Too many wires are going everywhere. This, be honest with you, was very tough because there's not enough space. It's just 3 inches here, that's all. And there's too much wire goes everywhere, as you can tell. So next, what we want to do, we want to test the radio, hook up to antenna. These are antenna wires. I'm going to use a test cable to hook up to antenna because I want to make sure this work. Hopefully will work. It came out very nice. And these crazy capacitors, they're everywhere. You see that? Unbelievable. Hopefully will work. If it doesn't, I'm in big trouble, because to track all of these wires now ain't gonna be tough. We will see. We will see. Alright, now the radio is ready to be tested. I hope it's gonna work after all this work, right? You never know if I miss anything or not. Hopefully not. We will see, right? I'm going to hook it up to the variac, also oscillation transformer to be safe. You always want to do that, right? As we discussed so many times. And the reason I use a variac, I want to start a little bit at a time, just the amount of volts it comes inside the radio, and I want to make sure everything is okay. I don't want to give 120 volts power to it. I want to gradually bring it up to see how the radio is doing. If I miss something, then I have to go back and check everything. Alright, so that's what you do. Okay folks, what I did, hooked up the antenna. This radio comes with the antenna. Let's turn these things on. I'm going to watch the amp as well as the voltage. I already set everything up. Let me show you a video of it. So this comes out of the variac, is 120 volts. I bypassed the dim bulb tester, so it means if I press it down, it's going to be direct electricity. Let's start the radio. Hopefully it will work. Before turning it on, let's just put the knobs. Everything is off, so that's why I'm touching the chassis. Alright, let's turn it on. If it blew up or something like that, I'm going to be in big trouble. Oh, the light came on here. That is a good sign, a very good sign. This old tube radio takes time to warm up. Let's see if we get any sound. I hear something from the speaker. Some noise coming on. Folks, do you think this is working? Oh my gosh. Start working. Do you hear that? I'm amazed. Honestly, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. No, this is full crank. Something wrong with the volume control. See? No sound at all. You should have some type of sound here. At least the radio comes on, man. I was really concerned about missing something. You saw how many wires was going everywhere. Darn it, that's awesome. That's encouraging. No, I need to figure out what's going on with volume control. Usually when I work on radio, I always check the volume control before installing it. This time I forgot because there's so much stuff in this radio. And I haven't adjusted anything, you know, IF or RF transformers. So if I go full, see, this is all the way up. Darn, I should check that thing before putting it together. I hate to take it out again. So what I will do first, I'm gonna spray it with some type of contact cleaner to see if that's gonna help it or not. I hope it does, because I don't want to take stuff out again. Spent so much time in this radio. Let me show you how we are doing on amps and volts. Okay, as you can see, the watt is 26.2 watt, amp 0.23, and voltage is 118 comes in the radio. Okay, let me figure out what's going on with this volume control and get back with you, alright? I test all the tubes, and one of them, it shows that was not working at all. So I ordered the tubes. The tube got here, and I test the tube, as it shows the same reading as the original ZEP09. And I have two excellent tube tester. For one reason or another, those tube testers, they don't like this tube. So what I'm doing now, I think it should be this volume control. I was hoping not, because I hate to remove all these wires again. So I create this years ago. Hopefully someday soon I'm going to put a video about this, how I made it. And I hook up to the speaker. This when Radio Shack was around, right before they closed it, a year before they closed it, I bought this from them. So I'm going to use this to see how the radio perform, because I think that's the issue. So what I'm going to do now, of course this is hooked up to all the proper equipment so I don't get electrocuted, as I shared with you earlier. I never work on radio without hooking up to those oscillator transformer as well as React. With React I can adjust the voltage, of course. So let's see. So I'm going to touch this one. So first one, it's just buzzing sound. Second, the same thing, the buzz, because you know it's a fluorescent light is on. Now I'm going to touch the other one. See? So as you can see, everything is working. It pick up to the volume control, but from the volume control, I'm holding on to this plastic. So I'm going to try to adjust this. You see, if I go all the way, I hear it, not that clear. So that's what I'm thinking is a volume control. That's what I thought in the beginning. I'll be honest with you. That's what I thought in the beginning. But after I start testing the tube, one of them really threw me off. It shows just 0 ZEP on my tube tester. So I assumed the tube tester was not reading it. So if I crank this all the way, now let's try this. Oh, that's interesting. Now when I touch the center, you hear it. Very interesting. Of course, here's nothing. After I adjust the volume all the way up, now the center, you see the sound is exactly the same. Now if I turn this down, you see I turn it down, that all the way down. The sound here hasn't changed at all, right? So now if I touch the center, there is no sound. If I adjust the volume all the way up, so if I keep going up and up and up and up, now it's the same volume. The volume control, it doesn't make it loud enough, so it is the darn volume control. I hate to take all this stuff out. There's too many wires goes in it. I wished I tested before installing it. I always test them. This time I didn't. The reason I didn't, because it was working. It didn't sound that great at all. Darn it. Alright, that's how we learn, right? Test the parts before you install it. Otherwise you have to take them and reinstall them again. Gee, man, I'm tired of this video. I'm gonna finish this and let it go. Alright, let me work on that. At least I'm getting close, right? Ay. Alright, this is the last thing I want to do. But you gotta do it. So I'm gonna do some voltage test with multimeter. It's important to read here. It tells you where to hook up your voltmeter. There's a few things it talks about. It's very important. It says if it's marked with WJ, that's a wiring junction. Of course, NC, there's no connection. This is very important. If there's a star, there's supposed to be a star. Like here, you see this is a star. You have to set your voltmeter an AC reading, not DC. If there is no mark, then you put it on DC. Of course, it talks about the tolerance and all this. That's the good thing about this schematic. You know, it tells you what to read. Some of the schematics, they don't. All this is highlighted. Those are the readings after I hook up my voltmeter to it. And let me just share with you, like, let's look at this tube. You know, here is a DC. Mine range exactly what it's supposed to be. Is a DC. See, there's no star, so this is DC. Of course, this is, you know, there's no connection. If you look at here, this is AC. It's the AC. So mine says 120, here it says 117. This is again AC. So some, like here, is AC and some DC. You have to be very careful. If there's no star, again is DC. So these are the reading, and I see they're very close. One other thing is important. Up here, it tells you this pen should be minus 5.5, and they marked it here, which pen it is. Again, that's a good thing about the schematic. Then my reading was 5.2 DC. It's a little bit off, but not that much. Alright, after 2 weeks of struggling with this radio, checking everything, you know, testing everything, going online and keep searching and reading about the radio has a low volume, what to look for. So I replaced a few of the volume control. You know, I actually take that the other one and install several volume control I have. It didn't change anything. And then I took this transformer out, and I have several other transformer. Let me show you. I have a big bag of it like that. So install those, nothing changed. Change the speakers. This is just 2 of them, several, and nothing changed. It's still the low volume. You have to crank it all the way up. It really was making me crazy because I check and check over and over again. So finally I went to Antique Radio Forum, and I put a detailed information about, you know, what I have done, and the volume still is low. And a day later, people start responding back with some great suggestions. Whenever I totally stuck in something, I go there and I start putting information. First, I'm trying to find it on my own. So I put a detailed information, and people start getting back with me. And a great suggestion. since I have sound coming behind the volume control on the left, he said go ahead and put the single tracer in the mid section of volume control and adjust the volume. By the time you get halfway, the higher you go, the lower the volume it should get. Start trying that his idea, and quickly notice that by adjusting volume control, even I pass the mid section, the sound getting louder and louder instead of getting lower. So next thing what I did, I follow another suggestion. They said, of course, check all the wiring. And, with this crazy radio, it takes, it's so hard to go back and try to check everything. So I start following that suggestion, and that's the last thing I want to do, go back and check everything again. So this time I start comparing it, wire by wire, just the audio section in 14B6 and 50A5. Those are focusing those two tubes. Finally, I noticed the portion of this schematic does not match this radio. I went back and started looking through every video, every picture that I took, and then I finally noticed what was wrong with it. You're not going to believe this. Let me show you. What I did here, I put a schematic and my drawing side by side to show you some of my finding. This is, of course, tube 14B6. As you see, the key is here. That's pin 1, 2, 3. From pin 3, it comes here. There's a capacitor here that is hooked up to the center of volume control. We do have that capacitor is right here. If you look at the drawing, that's the center. Then from here, there's a 4.7 meg hooked up to pin 5. Then from pin 5, there is a connection to pin 4. And here, as you see, there's a pin 4 and 5 and drawing that I did. That's just a wire. Then under the chassis, when I was looking at the radio, as I mentioned in the past video, there's two resistors comes out of these two pins. That one of them is a 4.7K. Of course, we saw it here, right here. There's a 4.7K. Here they call it meg, but in the old drawing, meg really is a K or 1,000. Here under the chassis, there was a 5 meg resistor hooked up to pin 3. I cannot find it anywhere in this schematic. That's why I literally was confused. I keep looking through a schematic and I said, this doesn't match. So what I did, I started looking through some of the videos and all the pictures that I took. If you're new or you don't have electronic background, I suggest very highly take tons of pictures because it's going to save you the same way it saved me. Let me show you what I found. Okay, this is again under the chassis. This is where the key is. So this is pin 1, 2, and 3. As you see, there's a capacitor over there. It hooked up to here. Also, there's a resistor comes out of here. See, there's a resistor here and resistor here as well. So let me show you different picture. Here, if you look at this, is a volume control. This is the capacitor we discussed, hooked up to the center of the volume control, and the other side hooked up to this pin, which is pin 3. And this resistor comes out of it. And this resistor is green, black, green. There is no other band. That means this is a 20% resistor. We're going to key this into database to see what the value is. Okay, let's check it here in database to see what's the value in that resistor. So we're going to select this one. Then here the color was green, black, green, and was no band in the end. So that's a 20%. So this is a 5 meg resistor. So as you saw in the schematic, this resistor was not showing there at all. After looking through this picture, I check under the chassis and I noticed where the mistake was made. Let me show you what the error was. It was late at night. I was soldering. You remember this? All this capacitor was I'm adding in the end. This is the last layer that I was adding all the capacitor. I soldered that to pin 2 instead of pin 3. And as soon as I remove it from here, pin 2, solder it back to pin 3, everything started working well. Let me assure you, this is just crazy. You know, sometimes when I'm tired, I walk away. But because this takes forever to work in this radio, I just was planning to finish it. And whenever you rush it, that's where the problem starts, right? Then it takes you days trying to figure out what's really happened. Let me show you. Alright, let's test this. I already hooked up all the wires. Let's test the volume to see how it works. I already turned on the radio. You see, now is working just perfect. I'm so happy about this thing. I can't believe that finally I figured it out. Hopefully all this is going to help you as well. I'm excited about this. I can't believe it. I was so excited, man, when this started working. This is so excited because it's frustrating. You know, you spend hours and days to do all this, and the darn thing, you know, is not working the way it's supposed to, you know. So, but when you figure it out, it's just, I'm telling you, it's a great feeling. It challenges your mind. It's so rewarding when it started working. You had so much issue and you were able to put it together. It's very rewarding. I'm excited about this, folks. I'm telling you, spent so much time. Finally, it's working. That is awesome. So now what I need to focus on is start working the cabinet. At this time, I want to take the opportunity and thank my subscribers with their uplifting comment. You always encourage me to upload more videos, since this is just a hobby of mine. Again, I appreciate you. Enjoy all these videos, and you all have an awesome day. Take care. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when a new video being uploaded. You have a great day.